Hi, I'm Stephen with AlbertaUrbanGarden.ca. On today's episode, we're going to kick off the Frugal Garden Challenge and hopefully show you how to not only plan a frugal garden, but save some money. Because after all, gardening doesn't have to be expensive and you can organically grow great produce at home. Tip number 1, save those grocery receipts. If you save those receipts for say 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be able to get a good understanding of the fruits and vegetables you buy at the store. And what that'll help you do is really narrow into the plants that you actually use in your day-to-day life. Once you have the list, you'll want to sort it. The first way you want to sort it is by hardiness zone. So if say I eat a lot of blueberries, it may be worthwhile to buy that perennial as long as it's hardy to my zone. What that means is it's more likely to be able to overwinter and continue to produce for me year after year. Once you've done that, you'll want to look at the days to ripeness or days to harvest on the back of the package or the plant. What this tells you is the number of days it on average takes to produce its crop. Now here in zone 3, I have, in a very good year, 120 days frost-free. What this really means is I need to be targeting crops and plants that have a 100 to a 90-day turnaround so that we can avoid early frosts, late springs, and make sure that we're getting the most out of our plants. Tip number 2, price that list out. You've got your list. Now what you can do is find out which crops are very cheap at your grocery store or your local farmer's market to purchase, which ones are expensive or rare. That way, if you're limited on space like I am, you can focus in on the crops that cost the most for you to buy, further saving you money. Tip number 2 comes with an exception to the rule. Grow what you like. If you really like growing lettuce and it's cheap in your area, you're more likely to continue to garden, hence save more money and enjoy this wonderful hobby than if you simply grow for necessity. Tip number 3, start with seeds. Gardening with seeds is usually the most cost-effective way to start gardening. You can even save your own seeds, which are usually free, if not very inexpensive. If you have a surplus of those seeds, you can go on local seed trading websites to increase the number of varieties that you have available. If you don't have the ability to save your own seeds, you can hop on a seed buying website and catch some absolutely great deals. Now that you have those seeds, you want to make them last as long as possible. Don't worry too much about the expiry date if you've purchased those seeds. Those expiry dates are for a 90% or 95% germination. So you get a 70% germination 2 years after. Instead of buying that new pack, just ignore that for a while until it stops germinating. And when you have the seeds, you can make them stretch a lot longer by simply planting one seed in one pod or one little pot. Instead of planting the traditional 3 and thinning it out, you're wasting 2 seeds basically. Now that you're gardening, it's time to feed your plants. Free resources in your community can be a great resource to do this. Usually, in most communities, you should be able to find a municipal wood chip lot, fall leaves, used coffee grounds, and so on and so forth. Most of the time these things are free and you can add them to your garden via compost or via mulching. This will not only feed your plants over the long term, but it'll help retain moisture, lowering your costs for watering, and reduce the number of weeds that show up in your garden, reducing the amount of work you have to do to enjoy that wonderful produce. I know all of you have some great tips for frugal gardening, and I'd love to see them in the comment section below. Thank you very much for spending time with me today. I appreciate it very much, and I hope you have a fantastic day.